going on, guys? This is Wade with Trade ATS. This is our weekly analysis video where we try to predict which currency pairs are going to be movers this next week and what we want to be looking at to trade. So it is Sunday, January 27th. So with that being said, let me get into the charts. There's not a whole heck of a lot that looks interesting. I scanned a bunch of pairs and I picked a couple of them to talk about. This one's looking kind of interesting. This is USDCAD. I know this is a big favorite among subscribers. We've been trading this one for years and years, and it typically always gives pretty good movement. So it's a great pair to trade. Right now, we just popped a new expansion on the daily. So what we're trying to project which days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which days are going to be possibly trending. Because we make all the money in the trend, so we definitely want to spot those trends when they're just starting. And we are in alignment with the weekly. Now the weekly is still above expansion here, so if we make a full retracement all the way back to expansion on the weekly, you got about you got a couple hundred pips there, which means that you're going to get some decent days of trend if we get all the way back down there. Now right now you can see we have the new expansion on the daily. We just popped through this buy liquidity line. If this market's going to hold short, you really want to see it keep below that level right there where it took out that liquidity. If it gets above that level, then there's a good chance we can come up and test the expansion level, and then if we get through that, we can come all the way back and range all the way back up to this sell liquidity line here. So that's kind of the levels that we're dealing with. If it is going to keep and trend coming into tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you really want to see it hold below that liquidity line. Your first price target would be right here. There's about 50 pips profit in there for you. And then if we snap that liquidity line and we hold below this one, then we got another 240. That's where the real gap is right there. And that's this gap between these liquidity lines here kind of represents if it does decide to retrace all the way down to expansion, that is that 200 pips right there. That's the majority of that gap we're looking for. So anyway, I think this one's it's looking good. Ideally, I'd like the weekly to be pulling away from expansion, but the weekly is a big enough time frame to where you can it's significant enough to where you can trade against expansion with it. And still use that as your directional bias. So, there could be some really good days in here that are trending, and those are the days that we want to only trade on. Those are the ones where you almost show up and it's almost impossible not to be able to make money. Just because it's just moving one direction solid and just makes it super simple. So that's ultimately what we're trying to spot and only trade on those days if possible. So that's a USDCAD. I think this one's interesting to look at. I would definitely keep this one on your radar for this next week. And then let me pull up the other one here. Hang on real quick. Okay, so the other pair that I want you guys to look at is a EURNZD. This one, again, we are in alignment. You can see we are starting to get, we got 4 weeks of trending downward direction on the weekly chart. And you can see right now we had a box form. We had a box expansion. We held under that expansion, which is an awesome sign. And now we're starting to trend down. So I think we can have, coming into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we can see some more easy downtrending days. First initial profit target, if you are short during those days, there's about 105 pips to our next expansion. And then if we pop through that expansion, we got 227 pips down to the next liquidity line. So as you can see, it's a good amount of pips there, and there should definitely be some good opportunity in those days. If it does, the worst case scenario, if the daily does turn long on this, leave it alone. Don't trade that. You don't want to trade when you're short on the weekly, and then you have it could be a few green days where you're going up. You got to be real careful with that. I know it's tempting, especially when you get a major reversal. You want to jump in and trade that. It's not worth it. Just wait for the alignment. When you got the daily into the weekly, and you're supported by previous expansion lines like this. I mean, it really doesn't get more perfect than this. You have a lot of probability in your favor to make money on these days. So don't trade the fade or trade against the trend. You don't want to do that. You don't need to. So that being said, I would take a look at this one, EURNZD, dollar CAD. I think those are great ones to look at this next week. I think that there definitely is a good chance of some good paydays in there. Other than that, you guys can always be scanning and finding other opportunities. These are just the ones I saw just looking around here as of Sunday afternoon. So that is it. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to email us at support, and we're more than happy to help you out as much as we can and help you get profitable trading. So anyway, everyone have a great trading week, and we will see you on the next video.